Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a close look at Guyana, a nation in South America where the construction industry is really experiencing something quite remarkable.
It really is a period of incredible growth.
Exactly. We've got this compelling report here from MBNCNUWS, dated May 4th, 2025, and it really digs into the details.
It does.
So let's get started. Let's explore the foundations of this expansion.
Absolutely. What's unfolding in Guyana, it's a truly significant transformation of its economy and the construction sector. It's playing an absolutely central role in all of this.
Right.
Our goal today really is to understand the main forces, behind this boom, examine its real-world effects, and maybe consider what the future might hold for this rapidly developing industry.
Okay, so the report immediately grabs your attention. It points out Guyana's, unprecedented economic growth. Apparently, it's ranking among the fastest-growing economies globally right now.
That's right. And the figures are quite remarkable. In just the first half of 2024, Guyana's gross domestic product, that's the GDP, the total value of goods and services, it reportedly jumped by an estimated 49.7%.
Wow, almost 50%.
Yeah. And while the oil and gas sector is, the primary driver here, it's really important to note that the non-oil economy, that includes vital sectors like construction, also saw a substantial expansion, about 12.6% estimate in that first half of 2024.
Okay, 12.6%. So that indicates the growth is extending beyond just the hydrocarbon industry itself.
Precisely. It's not just an oil story, though that's obviously huge.
Exactly. And this growth in the non-oil economy is really where our focus sharpens today. The report emphasizes the government's ambitious infrastructure investment plan for 2024.
Ambitious is the word.
Yeah, we're talking about a total budget of $88 billion allocated specifically to enhance power generation.
$88 billion, just for power.
It's just for power. And here's where it gets really interesting. A significant chunk of that, $36.2 billion, is specifically for constructing a natural gas power plant and a natural gas liquid plant.
Okay, so two major facilities there.
Right. That's a major undertaking with the aim of basically doubling the country's electricity production capacity.
Doubling it. What's fascinating here is just the sheer scale and ambition of these investments. The government is clearly making infrastructure development a top priority. It seems like a key element of its overall growth strategy.
Seems that way.
And this significant allocation for the gas-to-energy project, it suggests a long-term vision maybe for greater energy independence.
Yeah.
And possibly a shift towards, cleaner energy sources down the line, even with this booming oil sector.
That's an interesting point. Okay, now let's delve into some of the key areas of growth, the specific projects that are really fueling this construction activity. Unsurprisingly, infrastructure development itself is a major one. We're seeing significant efforts to modernize Guyana's infrastructure. The report mentions that Power China, they've secured contracts for important sections.
Ah, yes, Power China.
Specifically, sections 1 and 3 of Phase 2 under Guyana's 2024 Infrastructure Development Plan.
Yeah, their involvement is definitely noteworthy. These contracts, they focus on the construction and upgrading of multiple transmission and transformation lines. And substations, too.
So the backbone of the grid, essentially.
Pretty much. Think of these as the essential components for delivering electricity. The lines carry the power, the substations regulate its voltage. Geographically, this involves connecting the Damara and Burbus regions, that's regions 3, 4, 5, and 6, home to, significant portions of the population.
Right, so major population centers.
Exactly. The strategic importance here is pretty clear. Upgrading the national power grid is essential. You have to integrate these new gas power stations and ensure a reliable power supply across these key areas.
Makes sense. You build the power plants, you need the grid to support them. Now, building on this massive power generation push, the report also details significant construction happening directly within the energy sector itself, particularly with that gas-to-energy project.
Right.
As we mentioned, it's receiving a substantial $51.2 billion boost, and that's in addition to the power generation budget we just talked about.
Precisely. That $51.2 billion allocation really highlights the priority they're giving this initiative.
Yeah.
It involves not just the power plant itself, but also constructing crucial pipelines, to transport the gas.
Right, the transport is key.
And the onshore processing facilities, including that 300 million natural gas power plant and the natural gas liquid, or NGL, plant.
NGLs, those are things like propane, butane.
Exactly, valuable byproducts. So this is a really comprehensive construction effort. It's significantly driving activity in the energy sector.
Okay. But it's not just these huge, large-scale infrastructure and energy projects, is it? The report also points to considerable growth in housing and real estate.
That's right.
Now, this particular report, it doesn't give us specific figures on, say, the number of new homes completed in 2024.
No exact numbers.
But that impressive 12.6% growth in the non-oil economy we mentioned earlier during the first half of the year, that strongly suggests an upward trend, right, in both residential and commercial building.
That's a really key indicator, I think.
Yeah.
Increased economic prosperity, it naturally leads to greater demand for places to live, places to do business.
It stands to reason.
And the government's initiatives, things like improving access to financing, raising the limits on mortgages, for example,
Right.
they're likely playing a role in encouraging this growth, too.
Okay.
It creates this kind of positive cycle, Economic growth fuels construction, and that construction, in turn, supports more economic activity.
Right. A virtuous cycle, hopefully. And the construction boom isn't limited to homes and power plants either. We're also seeing an increase in industrial and commercial construction.
Yes.
Driven by, well, the positive economic outlook and rising levels of foreign investment.
Which makes sense with the oil discoveries.
Totally. The report gives a really concrete example here. Guyana's first oil refinery, it's currently under construction on the East Bank de Marera.
The first refinery, that's significant.
It is. This is a $200 million project, expected completion by 2026, and it's projected to produce 30,000 barrels of oil each day. That's a massive industrial undertaking.
Absolutely. This oil refinery, it signifies a kind of maturing of Guyana's energy sector.
Yeah.
Moving beyond just, extracting crude oil.
Yet adding value.
To actually processing it within the country. Such a large-scale industrial project, it doesn't just generate substantial construction activity. It also indicates strong confidence in Guyana's long-term economic prospects.
Good point.
The fact that it's attracting such a significant investment like $200 million, it really underscores Guyana's growing appeal to foreign capital.
Yeah, definitely sending a signal there. Finally, the report touches briefly on transportation infrastructure.
Right, roads, bridges.
Exactly. While specific numbers for, say, completed road or bridge projects in 2024 aren't detailed in this particular report, it stands to reason that the overall push for infrastructure development would involve significant activity in this area as well, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's logical.
All this economic growth, it requires the roads and ports to actually support it.
That's a crucial connection to make. Efficient transportation networks are, like, the lifeblood of a growing economy. Investment in roads, bridges, ports, it's essential for facilitating the movement of goods, materials, people, all of which are vital for the success of the other construction sectors we've been discussing.
Can't build refineries and power plants without good roads to get materials in and out.
Exactly. It's all interconnected.
So what does all of this actually mean in terms of impact? Let's shift to that. Well, a primary effect, and an obvious one, is job creation.
A big one.
The report notes that back in 2022, approximately 22,300 people were employed in construction. That was about 9% of the total workforce then.
Okay, 2022 figures.
Right. So given the significant boom we're observing in 2024, it's highly probable you'd think that this number has increased considerably.
You'd certainly expect so. The job creation aspect is indeed vital. It doesn't just reduce unemployment. It also contributes to the overall economic well-being of the population, by increasing disposable income for many Guyanese citizens.
Right. More money circulating.
And furthermore, this construction activity, it stimulates demand in related industries, which kind of amplifies the positive economic impact.
And it's not just about the immediate creation of jobs, is it? This expansion of the construction sector, it's also playing a role, potentially, in diversifying Guyana's economy.
That's a key point.
Reducing its heavy reliance on the oil and gas sector. The report points out that it's generating opportunities in supporting industries, like manufacturing building materials, transportation services.
Yes, this diversification is crucial for long-term economic stability. While the oil and gas sector provides, substantial revenue, a more diverse economy is generally better positioned to withstand those fluctuations in global commodity prices.
Right. Less vulnerable.
Exactly. The growth in construction and its associated industries helps to build a more resilient economic base for the country.
Naturally, all this construction activity is leading to much-needed improvements in Guyana's infrastructure.
You hope so.
Enhanced power supply, hopefully a more robust transportation network, and just overall modernization. The report highlights how important these improvements are for long-term sustainable development.
Indeed. Reliable infrastructure is really a fundamental prerequisite for sustained economic growth and, frankly, an improved quality of life for citizens. Upgrading the power grid, transportation systems, other essential infrastructure, it provides a solid foundation for future development and enhances Guyana's attractiveness for investment and business.
So looking ahead, the report strikes I'd say a rather optimistic tone.
Generally positive, yeah.
It suggests this strong growth trajectory in construction is likely to continue. Expected drivers are, well, ongoing government investments, the continued expansion of oil and gas, and just increasing demand for both housing and commercial spaces.
It all feeds into it.
And the projected real GDP growth for 2024 overall is a significant 43.8%. That indicates this momentum is set to continue, at least for now.
Wow, 43.8% projected growth. That figure really underscores the magnitude of the economic transformation that's currently underway. The construction sector is clearly positioned to remain a key engine of this growth for the foreseeable future, it seems.
It seems that way.
The combination of public sector investment and private sector activity, it creates a really powerful dynamic for expansion.
However.
There's always a however.
Always considerations, yes. The report also touches on some important challenges and considerations. One potential issue is the possibility of skilled labor shortages.
Ah, yes, a classic growing pain.
Right. With such a high volume of construction projects underway, there could be increased pressure on the availability of qualified workers. The report even references an ILO projection that emphasizes the need for training and developing a skilled workforce, specifically between 2022 and 2026.
This is a really critical point. Rapid growth, it can often outpace the supply of skilled labor, and that can potentially lead to project delays, increased costs.
Yeah, bottlenecks.
Exactly. Investing in vocational training, educational programs, it's essential to ensure the local workforce has the skills needed to meet the demands of this expanding construction sector.
Makes sense. You need the people to do the work. Another challenge the report highlights is supply chain management.
That's so crucial.
For these large-scale projects to stay on schedule, stay within budget, ensuring a consistent supply of building materials, and effectively managing the complex logistics involved, that's going to be crucial.
Effective supply chain management, it's often an aspect that's easy to overlook, but is absolutely vital for big construction projects.
Right.
Disruptions in the supply of essential materials, they can have significant ripple effects, delays, cost overruns. Careful planning, maybe diversifying suppliers, establishing robust logistical systems. These are essential to mitigate those potential risks.
Right. Not glamorous, but necessary.
Very necessary.
Finally, the report raises the increasingly important issue of environmental sustainability.
Yes, very important.
As the construction sector in Guyana expands so rapidly, it's going to be more and more important to adopt sustainable building practices and minimize the environmental impact of all this development.
Absolutely. With any significant industrial and infrastructural expansion like this, environmental considerations, they really have to be given high priority. Implementing green building technologies, responsible waste management practices, minimizing the ecological footprint of construction activities, it's all crucial for ensuring the long-term sustainability of Guyana's development. It can't just be growth at any cost.
Well said. So to sort of bring it all together then, what we're witnessing in Guyana in 2024 is, well, it's a truly remarkable surge in the construction industry, no doubt about it.
Definitely remarkable.
It's being fueled by these substantial oil discoveries and significant government investments in infrastructure, and it's leading to unprecedented economic growth, fundamentally reshaping the nation.
Yes, the construction sector is playing a truly pivotal role in this transformation. It's driving job creation, contributing to potentially a more diversified economy beyond just oil and gas, and delivering, hopefully, much-needed upgrades to the country's infrastructure. It's undoubtedly a period of significant opportunity for Guyana.
Huge opportunity. But, as we discussed, it's also important to recognize the challenges that come along with such rapid growth, particularly in areas like skilled labor, supply chain management, and, of course, environmental sustainability.
Yeah.
How these challenges are addressed will be really key, won't it? To ensuring that this boom translates into lasting, sustainable development for Guyana.
Indeed. Effectively navigating these challenges will be crucial for Guyana to fully capitalize on the benefits of this construction-led growth and, build a resilient and prosperous future for all its citizens.
Right, a future that works for everyone. And on that thought, let's leave you, the listener, with a final consideration. With such rapid infrastructure development and economic transformation taking place in Guyana, what might be the long-term societal and environmental consequences?
That's a deep question.
What kind of lasting legacy will this construction boom ultimately leave for generations to come? It's definitely a fascinating question to consider. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.